throne. Once on the shore of a Russian lake. The life jacket attracted more attention than 1 million other things found near the water. Moreover, it became the cause of a huge investigation, during which an ancient tunnel of an unknown civilization was discovered. To whom did the found life jacket belong? What happened to this person, and how is the life jacket connected to the tunnel belonging to an unknown civilization? In this video, we will delve into the history of the discovery of this ancient tunnel. In 2003, in the vicinity of Solnechnogorsk, a mysterious event occurred. Vladimir Saychenko, a driver for the rural administration, discovered a bottomless US Navy life jacket in a lake. What was shocking was that the jacket had an identifying inscription indicating that it belonged to a sailor named Sam Belovski from the USS Cole, which was bombed in the port of Aden, Yemen, in October of the year 2000. 4 sailors tragically lost their lives in that incident, while 10 others, including Sam Belovski, went missing. The life jacket was indeed recognized by witnesses and participants of the described event, and the inscriptions on it directly pointed to sailor Sam Belovski. However, how a life jacket from a ship in the Indian Ocean ended up in a lake in the vast expanses of central Russia remains a mystery. What was its route? Based on this, some scientists have come to the conclusion that there are unknown underground passages connecting deep underground parts of the continent. But who created these tunnels, when, and why they were constructed remains unknown. Researchers from various continents have repeatedly noted the existence of underground passages, in addition to tunnels, subways, bunkers, mines, and natural caves, which were created by civilizations that existed before the advent of modern humans. These passages are not only represented by giant chambers with walls bearing inscriptions made by unknown mechanisms, often showing signs of secondary natural processes like erosion and cracks, but also in the form of linear tunnel-like structures. In fact, the beginning of the 21st century marked an increase in the number of fragments of underground passages discovered on different continents. The identification of these underground passages is a complex task that requires deep knowledge of underground technology and the mechanisms of Earth's crust transformation throughout our planet's history. However, it is entirely achievable, considering that the main distinction of these tunnels from natural and modern underground structures lies in the fact that, surprisingly, many of these ancient creations exhibit a level of precision in wall processing that is truly remarkable. They also possess immense sizes and ages that are beyond human comprehension. Nevertheless, it cannot be claimed that all tunnels appeared at the same time. Here are some of them that researchers have managed to discover. The Marble Cave, nestled within a mountain range, standing at an elevation of 900 meters above sea level, is widely known in Crimea. As visitors enter the cave, they are greeted by a vast chamber resembling a 20-meter-long tube, which is currently half filled with stone boulders that have tumbled down due to numerous earthquakes. These boulders dangle from cracks and overhangs, reaching out towards them, creating a mesmerizing effect. Few pay attention to the fact that initially, this was a tunnel with perfectly smooth walls, extending deep into the mountain range with a slope towards the sea. Surprisingly, the walls have remained well preserved and show no signs of erosion. Some of these tunnels begin at an altitude of about 1 kilometer from the Black Sea. Considering that the Black Sea basin formed approximately 30 million years ago as a result of the impact of a large asteroid, which cleaved and shattered the main ridge of the Crimean Mountains. It can be assumed that the Marble Cave is a fragment of an ancient tunnel, the main part of which was located within the mountain range devastated by the asteroid impact. According to recent reports from Crimean geologists, beneath the Ai Petri Massif, picturesque elevations have been discovered, and a massive cave has been found. Furthermore, tunnels connecting Crimea and the Caucasus have been uncovered. Ufologists from the Caucasus region, during one of their expeditions, determined that beneath the Uvarov Ridge, opposite Mount Araz, there exist tunnels, one of which leads towards the Crimean Peninsula, and the other extends through the city of Krasnodar. The Volga River extends towards Yeysk and Rostov-on-Don. In the Krasnodar Krai, an offshoot towards the Caspian Sea has also been discovered. Unfortunately, the expedition participants did not share any additional details. Furthermore, a well-known geographical feature, the Medvedev Ridge, located in the Volga region, was extensively explored during a recent expedition. As a result, an extensive network of tunnels stretching for tens of kilometers was mapped out. These tunnels have a round or sometimes oval cross-section with diameters ranging from 7 to 20 meters, a consistent width throughout their length, and depths ranging from 6 to 30 meters below the surface. As they approach the hill along the ridge, the diameter of these tunnels increases from 22 to 35 meters, then expands to 80 meters, and at the highest point, the cavity's diameter reaches a whopping 120 meters. It then turns beneath the mountain, culminating in a massive chamber that branches off in various directions. 3 more tunnels are discovered. Researchers speculate that from here, one can potentially access not only the Caucasus and Crimea but also the northern regions of Russia, uncharted territories, and even extend their journey to the North American continent. Some people even believe that these tunnels are currently operational and used as transportation routes and bases for spacecraft and UFOs. It's not surprising that in his book Legend of the Secret Passages, Pavel Myroshnichenko suggests that our entire country, including Crimea, Altai, the Urals, Siberia, and the Far East, is crisscrossed with tunnels. The challenge remains to discover their exact locations, and in most cases, such discoveries happen by chance. For instance, Yevgeny Chesnikov, a resident of the village of Celia in the Voronezh region, once stumbled into a pit, which turned out to be a cave with tunnels branching off in various directions and symbols adorning the walls. But that's not all about these mysterious underground tunnels. There's another vertical shaft that has long been known in the Caucasus, nestled in a gorge beneath Gelendzhik. People who have seen it describe it as a perfectly straight, arrow-like tunnel with a diameter of about 1.5 meters and a depth of over 100 meters. Moreover, its surface is as smooth as if the walls had been meticulously polished. An examination of their properties revealed that the walls had undergone simultaneous thermal and mechanical treatments, creating a crust in the rock about 1 millimeter thick, giving the walls an extraordinary strength that cannot be replicated even with modern technology. Furthermore, the shaft exhibits an intense radiation background. It's possible that this is one of the vertical passages connecting itself to horizontal tunnels extending from this region into the Volga area, known as the Medvedevgard. It's known that in the post-war years, the Soviet Council of Ministers issued a secret decree for the construction of a tunnel through the Tatar Strait to connect the mainland by rail to the island of Sakhalin. Over time, the secrecy surrounding this project gradually dissipated. Dr. Berman, a doctor of physical and mathematical sciences who worked on the project during that time, revealed in her memoirs to the Voronezh branch of Memorial in 1990 that the builders were not so much constructing as they were restoring something that already existed. The pre-existing tunnels, dating back to ancient times, were laid out with extraordinary precision, taking into account the geology of the strait's bottom. Strange discoveries in these tunnels have also been mentioned, such as enigmatic mechanisms and fossilized remains of animals. All of these findings eventually disappeared into the secrecy of special service bases. So, Pavel Myroshnichenko's claims that our country, including the Far East, is riddled with tunnels, are not without basis. It's also not beyond the realm of possibility that this underground passage continues further, possibly leading through Sakhalin to Japan. Now, let's shift our focus to Western Europe, specifically to the border of Slovenia and Poland, in the Tatra Mountains, and venture into the heart of a mystery, all while leaving our provisions behind. Here, the Queen of Hermitage, a mountain known as Babia Gora, stands tall at 725 meters. Since ancient times, the local inhabitants have guarded a secret associated with this mountain. As told by a man named Vincent, it was in the 1960s when, at the insistence of his father, he embarked on a journey from his village to visit Baba Igora. At an elevation of 600 meters, together with his father, they pushed aside one of the protruding rocks and revealed a large entrance that could easily accommodate a horse-drawn carriage. The tunnel that lay before them, shaped like a shaft, was as straight as an arrow, wide enough to fit an entire train, and so tall that it could house it with ease. The smooth, glistening surface of the walls and floor was covered in glass. Inside, it was dry. Their journey along the sloping tunnel eventually led them to a spacious chamber, resembling a colossal barrel in shape. Inside the chamber, there were several pathways. Some had triangular cross-sections, while others were circular. According to Vincent's father, these tunnels could take you to different countries and continents. The tunnel on the left led to Germany, then to England, and further on to the American continent. The tunnel on the right extended to Russia in the Caucasus, then to China and Japan, and from there to America, where it connected with the left tunnel. You could also reach America through other tunnels that were laid beneath the north and south poles of the Earth. Along the path of each tunnel, there are central stations, similar to this one. According to Vincent's account, these routes are currently operational. Reports from England indicate that during the construction of a tunnel for industrial purposes, miners heard sounds from below that resembled the operation of machinery. When they broke through the stone, the miners discovered a staircase leading into a shaft. At that point, the sounds of machinery grew louder. However, no further information about their subsequent actions was reported. Perhaps they stumbled upon one of the vertical shafts of a horizontal tunnel originating from Germany, and the sounds of machinery indeed indicated its operational state. As it turns out, the American continent is also threaded with ancient tunnels. Andrew Thomas, a renowned researcher, firmly believes that beneath America, ancient underground vertical and horizontal pathways have been preserved, with some in pristine condition. According to him, these tunnels traverse the entire continent. One of the central junctions where multiple shafts converge is the Mount Shaft in California. From Mount Shaft, the pathways extend to the states of California and New Mexico. Confirmation of this comes from the case involving Iris and Nick Marshall, who ventured into a mountainous area known as Casa del Diablo. Inside a cave, they found walls and a floor that were exceptionally smooth and polished to a mirror-like sheen. Strange hieroglyphs and inscriptions adorned the walls and ceiling. There were small openings in one of the walls, from which faint beams of light emanated. While exploring the cave, the couple heard a strange noise coming from beneath the ground, prompting them to hastily exit the chamber. It's possible that they accidentally stumbled upon one of the entrances to an underground tunnel, which turned out to be operational. In 1980, not far from the California coast, a vast space was discovered, stretching deep into the continent for several hundred meters. It's not unlikely that one of the central stations of the underground tunnels was uncovered. The existence of these tunnels is further supported by the fact that nuclear tests conducted at great depths on a well-known test site in the state of Nevada yielded unexpected results. At 2 o'clock in Canada, on a military base located 2,000 kilometers away from the Nevada test site, a radiation level 20 times higher than the norm was recorded. How could this have happened? It turned out that there was a massive cave near the base, part of an enormous system of caves and tunnels beneath the continent. In 1963, while excavating one of the tunnels, they stumbled upon a massive door, behind which lay marble steps leading downward. This could very well have been another entrance to the tunnel system. Unfortunately, the exact location of these events remains unknown. However, in the state of Idaho, anthropologist James McCain explored a large cave and ventured several hundred meters down a wide stone tunnel before he was halted by an unbearable smell of sulfur, gruesome remains of human skeletons, and noises from the depths. As a result, the investigation had to be terminated. In Mexico, in one of the most desolate and sparsely populated regions, there is a cave called Satana de la Scala. It has a depth of over a kilometer and a width spanning several hundred meters. Its imposing walls are perfectly smooth and level. It forms a veritable labyrinth of various chambers, passages, and tunnels, all diverging in different directions at this depth. This, too, bears a striking resemblance to one of the central hubs of intercontinental tunnels. South America, in terms of tunnels, is not far behind North America. In recent research conducted by Professor Eric von Däniken, multi-kilometer tunnels were discovered beneath the desert's surface, through which pure water still flows. In June 1965, Argentine researcher Juan Moritz, in the province of Morro on Santiago in Ecuador, discovered and mapped out a previously unknown system of underground tunnels and ventilation shafts, stretching for hundreds of kilometers. This network was located within the territories enclosed by the cities of Galaxies behind San Antonio. The entrance to the tunnel system appeared as a neatly carved opening in the rock, resembling the doors of a barn, leading to a series of horizontally arranged platforms, eventually descending to a depth of 230 meters. Within these tunnels, there are rectangular sections, changing widths, and making 90-degree turns. The walls are smooth, almost as if glazed or polished. Ventilation shafts, approximately 70 centimeters in diameter, are spaced at regular intervals. In a chamber the size of a concert hall, it was discovered that in the center of one of them, structures resembling a table and 7 thrones were placed. Made from an unknown material resembling plastic, near these so-called thrones, castings in gold and large figures of bison, bears, monkeys, wolves, jaguars, and even crabs and snails were found. In the same chamber, there exists a library comprised of several thousand metal sheets, measuring 96 by 48 centimeters, adorned with peculiar symbols. Each plate is uniquely stamped. Juan Moritz also discovered a stone amulet depicting a figurine of a person standing on a globe. The tunnels and chambers are rich in golden artifacts, including discs and plates adorned with various drawings and symbols. There are also depictions of dinosaurs carved into the walls. The plates depict pyramids constructed from blocks, with pyramid symbols adjacent to flying serpents in the sky. Hundreds of such images were found in total. Some plates also feature astronomical concepts and ideas related to astronomical travel. Undoubtedly, Juan Moritz's discovery has partially unveiled the identity of those who built the tunnels, shedding light on their level of knowledge and the era in which they lived. When this occurred in 1976, a joint Anglo-Ecuadorian expedition explored one of the underground tunnels in the region of the equatorial belt on the border of Peru and Ecuador. In these chambers, rooms were discovered containing a table surrounded by chairs with backrests measuring over 2 meters in height, all made from an unknown material. Another room resembled a long hall with a narrow passageway in the center. Along its walls were shelves holding ancient books, thick volumes with approximately 400 pages each. Every text on these sheets, made from pure gold, was written in an incomprehensible script unknown to us. It appears that the tunnels and chambers were used not only for transportation but also as repositories of valuable information. 5 years earlier, a spelunking expedition in Peru discovered cave entrances that were blocked by social blocks. Overcoming these obstacles, researchers found a massive chamber at a depth of approximately 100 meters, with a floor made of blocks featuring distinctive relief. The walls bore inscriptions resembling hieroglyphs. Numerous tunnels branched out from the chamber, with some leading to the sea, while others extended underwater and continued to the seabed. In Southeast Asia, numerous mysterious underground tunnels have also been discovered. The famous Shambhala, located in the numerous caves of Tibet with their underground passages and tunnels, houses individuals in a state neither alive nor dead, sitting in the lotus position, some for many hundreds or even thousands of years. According to some researchers, such tunnels were used for various purposes, including preserving the genetic heritage of the Earth and what they consider fundamental values. In the Chinese province of Hunan, on the southern shore of Lake Dongting, southwest of the city of Wuhan, near one of the round pyramids, Chinese archaeologists uncovered a buried passage that led them into an underground labyrinth. Its stone walls were remarkably smooth and carefully crafted, leading scientists to rule out their natural origin. One of the many symmetrically arranged passages led archaeologists into a large underground chamber, its walls and ceiling adorned with numerous drawings. The drawings in this underground chamber depicted a hunting scene, with creatures resembling UFOs flying above. Humans armed with spears chased after animals, while the flying beings above them appeared to be aiming objects resembling guns. Another drawing depicted 10 spheres evenly spaced around a central point, resembling the schematic of a solar system. Interestingly, the third sphere, Earth, and the fourth, Mars, were connected by lines forming a loop. Likely, this suggests some connection between Earth and Mars. Scientists have determined the age of the nearby pyramids to be 45,000 years, but the tunnels could have been constructed and used much earlier. Now, let's shift our focus to the northwest of China, in the desolate and sparsely populated region of Qinghai Province, nestled in the Tibetan Plateau. Here, not far from the town of Sedong, rises Mount Shan, surrounded by serene and salty lakes. On the southern shore of the salty Lake Tyson, a solitary cliff juts upward by 60 meters, housing caves within its rugged contours. In one of these caves, the upper part of the walls, distinctly of artificial origin, slopes smoothly. These walls are covered in rust, and a pipe with a diameter of 40 centimeters protrudes from them. Another pipe leads underground, while at the cave's entrance, 12 smaller pipes, ranging from 10 to 40 centimeters in diameter, are integrated. They run parallel to each other along the lake's shore, and in the vicinity, you can spot numerous iron pipes. These pipes protruding from the sand range in diameter from 2 to 4.5 centimeters and are oriented from east to west. There are even smaller openings, just a few millimeters wide, but none of them are inhabited inside. Such pipes have also been found in the lake itself, either jutting out or concealed beneath the water's surface. When analyzing the composition of these pipes, it was discovered that they contain 30% iron oxide, a significant amount of silicon dioxide, and calcium oxide. The composition suggests a prolonged iron oxidation process, indicating their very ancient origin. All of this, the caves, the pipes, remnants of structures, could possibly be remnants of a launch platform for rockets or spacecraft, built in the distant past by representatives of an extraterrestrial civilization. It's not ruled out that they were involved in constructing underground tunnels worldwide after, for some reason, they couldn't leave Earth. The world-famous pyramids and ancient temple ruins on the Giza Plateau in Egypt are well-known examples of their work. But little is known about what lies beneath their surface. Recent scientific investigations reveal that beneath the pyramids and throughout the plateau, enormous, unexplored underground structures exist. Researchers speculate that this network of tunnels stretches for dozens of kilometers, extending towards both the Red Sea and the Atlantic Ocean. Now, let's recall the findings from the research on South American tunnels that extend along the floor of the Atlantic Ocean. It's possible that they are converging in the Middle East, near Syria and the city of Aleppo. And there's also this incredible geological feature that locals have nicknamed the sinkhole. It's a hilly, arid area, but as you approach one of these hills, you'll be astonished to see, instead of a summit, an enormous cavity with sheer walls plunging down to depths of up to 70 meters and a diameter of 120 meters. How could this have appeared seemingly out of nowhere? According to the locals, the sinkhole formed instantaneously in a single day in the distant past. Initially, a hole with a diameter of about 10 meters formed at the bottom, which later expanded. It became evident that in order for such a volume of rock to collapse and form the sinkhole, there must have been a cavity beneath it of no less than 1.6 million cubic meters of soil, as the rupture of rock lines increases the volume by at least twice. Now, knowing about the possible existence of a network of tunnels throughout the Earth, some of which are partially submerged, partially dry, and partially in ruins, it raises intriguing questions. Imagine how a resident from Mosul could end up where they were found. Doesn't it suggest the existence of an underground network of tunnels filled with water that flows northward? Is it possible that these tunnels lead from this location on the Arabian Peninsula to the Caspian Sea, where they connect with tunnels under Krasnodar? Then, they extend to Rostov with branches leading to the Voronezh region, to the bottomless lake, and then to a tunnel from the port leading to the Volga region. Some tunnels reveal their age, dating back to very ancient times, over 30 million years old, and are now in a state of disrepair, partially collapsed due to bombardment during Earth's cataclysms. Others, relatively young, less than 1 million years old, are well preserved and suggest the possibility of their use by extraterrestrial beings. Moreover, based on the drawings left on the tunnel walls, depicting the joint actions of these superhumans and ordinary humans, it's evident that these tunnels were created during the early stages of human development. On the other hand, some tunnels show clear evidence that they were built by ancient people with an advanced civilization who possessed high technology, allowing them to construct such engineering marvels stretching across vast distances. There seems to be no need for extraterrestrials to create underground tunnels in case of Earth's cataclysms when they could easily depart to their own safe havens, observing events from afar. This is highly probable, considering that we know global catastrophes occur on Earth roughly every 200 million years. These events, occurring roughly every 30 million years at Earth's history, lead to the extinction of up to 80% of the planet's flora and fauna. The most recent catastrophe of this kind happened just 30 million years ago, when ordinary asteroids impacted Earth, causing disruptions like earthquakes, waves, tsunamis, volcanic eruptions, and floods that persisted for 140 and 21,000 years respectively. These events played a crucial role in shaping our planet, perhaps influenced by ancient civilizations. Aware of these cycles and wishing to avoid their consequences, these civilizations built a network of tunnels and underground structures worldwide, seeking refuge in them to ensure their activities wouldn't be affected by surface events. What are your thoughts on these underground tunnels connecting different parts of the Earth? Share your opinions in the comments. That's all from me. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. Your engagement means the world to me. Thanks for watching. See you soon. Goodbye.